How you doing, people? Robert here, aka Robess, Anti-Corruption Scotland. This is a wee update for the man that was arrested last week. I've been trying to contact him the last 3 or 4 days. No joy, phone's off. I've been to his house, I've been up to his house tonight as well. Lights are out. So that tells myself that this man last week was not just arrested but remanded in custody because he wouldn't accept the legal name or the status of person. Now, when I was in the administrative hearing, the magistrate and the legal advisor were sitting arrogant, annoyed when he was disputing the name, and it was twice stated by the magistrate that if he was not the man or person, Frank, whatever, right, they were going to issue a bench warrant for his arrest for failure to appear. Now, he kind of tied them up when they were on the bench, and they left the court. They adjourned the court. We went to the waiting area because we were waiting to get called back in. And within 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 3 men in fancy dress uniform that looked like constables appeared, and they arrested the man Frank and took him away. Now, again, I think the man's lying in Berlin prison for failure to appear. So today I went to the Sheriff Court, I went to the Procurator Fiscal's office, I went to the Sheriff Court to make a complaint about the court conduct. Now, a complaint, you're not supposed to make a complaint, but because he's in their system, I need to work with that system. I know how to work the system inside and out of the system, right, people? They weren't happy with giving me a complaint form. So they went to see the manager because I reported that a man had been arrested falsely and imprisoned, and it's my understanding that he's lying in remand as we speak in their office. So she went away and came back. She gave me an email to the judicial office, right? They're reluctant to speak to me, people, because of what I did last week in the video, exposed it to the people on TikTok and other platforms. I left there and went to the Procurator Fiscal's office and asked to speak to a woman called Moira Orr. She's, my understanding, the head of the Procurator Fiscal office, or a manager, and they would not do that. They were talking among themselves behind the window. I don't know what they were actually saying, but I told her what had happened. I says it's now a serious situation because it's my understanding the man's lying in remand when he shouldn't have been in prison. The point of the matter is, people, this man's only up for a couple of stupid motor offences. The worst scenario is a fine, community service, or deferred sentence. Nothing major. That's it. He's never been in trouble for years, right? I know that for a fact. So what's happening here is unlawful and it's wrong. What they don't realise is that they're all now culpable because of, under Scots law, the law of derelict, they falsely arrested, falsely imprisoned and committed fraud against a man by trying to criminally convert his status to person with the all caps name, the Crown copyright name. The man acting in capacity as Procurator Fiscal on the day, the man acting as magistrate and the legal advisor and the clerk in that court and the constable that called for assistance are all complicit in a fraud and crimes against a sovereign man. And this can't be ignored, people. We can't have a man lying in the jail. I'm optimising stuff, but I know how that feels, right? What's happened to this man, because it's happened to me numerous times, right? That's what I'll say, right? I have fun, right? But it's no funny when you're in that position and it happens on the day it happens. Now, they've obviously got really rat-assed after him because I was there and witnessed the case, and I've maybe caused a stink. Maybe with me doing the video outside, exposing the fraud and what had happened to the man in the court, maybe I didn't do him any favours, and I've maybe lit the fuse for him to be remanded because I've exposed it, which is quite right. The problem we've got out there, people, you don't see very many people doing what I do outside courts and what I do in the street. I'll put a video up, I showed you a prime example of what happens when you stand in the street and talk. And I think the people now start to get it. People have to start to get it because this is wrong. Now this man, Frank, has been using paperwork for a guy that's claiming to be a federal judge. I think you all know who I'm talking about. I can't remember his name, but his second name's Christopher, right? He's used his paper on 4 occasions. That last week wasn't just the first arrest, people. He's been arrested 3 times before that. 3 times they've let him go. It's my understanding. 3 times they've let him go home. And then within a week they've came and arrested him and took him in. Held him in overnight and he's been bailed. But for this time, he hasn't been bailed. And to be honest, I feel quite guilty because I think with what I did outside the court and the aggression of anger for what had happened to that man, I think maybe I've lit the fuse and pissed him off. That could be the problem here, is got him remanded. Because one thing they're not doing with me is hush me up. They're not silence me. Let me tell you people, that will never happen. When you're right, you're right. If you back down, I've been doing this, coming up for 12 and a half years, people. I've lost my father in the process. When you're right, you're right. And if you back down, everything that if I was to back down, people, everything I've done would go right down the toilet pan. And they would come after me like a pack of wolves. It's because I'm so controversial. And I don't back down, they don't like it. I don't think they've had anybody as determined as myself in the lands of Scotland to stand up in my county. And that's what I do, people. And you can see I stand up in my county. You know I stand up in my county. I'm not bullshit, right? And everything I tell you, I verify. In private capacity, under full liability, even under a charge of perjury in any court jurisdiction in the lands of Scotland, England, Ireland or Wales. The Supreme Court, Court of Session are out with the jurisdiction of the corporation known as United Kingdom. Most people that do videos will say this is for educational purposes. Well, my argument there is if it's for educational purposes, why are you putting it up? Because it's clear that you can't back it up, right? Or you would stand in your private capacity the same as myself. That's the difference between me and a lot of people out there, people. It's wrong what's happened to this man. I'm feeling really bad that he's lying in a jail where he shouldn't be lying, because it's only motor offences. It's my understanding, right? Road Traffic Act offences. And remember this, people, offences is an infraction of a rule. It's not a law, as they claim. This is where legalese kicks in. They tell you offence or law. For to break a law, you have to commit a crime. And to commit a crime, you have to have a victim, an injured party or a man or woman making a claim that you've committed a crime against them. You also have to commit fraud, property damage, loss, harm or injury, right? That's the law, right? But they are preaching and they're trying to intimidate people. The police force we've got, especially the ones that's working in fancy dress in the Glasgow Sheriff Court and other courts in Scotland, are domestic terrorists. The government here are domestic terrorists for what's happened, the genocide and everything that they've caused against the people of the lands of Scotland, the deprivation and poverty. The best way to deal with this, people, we require a sovereign government. That is the only option. We have to wipe out the 129 numpties in the Scottish Parliament. They're fleecing people for money, they're robbing people, they're bringing in rules, regulations and policies to screw people for money. Anything with a financial penalty, that's for their benefit, not for your benefit. People need to waken up, and I'm hoping with what I'm doing with the videos and information I'm putting in there, people are waking up, people are clicking now. What's going on? I do this with good heart, good intentions, and a strong mind, people, and a heart of a lion. This isn't easy what I do. Sometimes it's not just about standing on videos. You've got to be prepared to talk the talk and walk the walk, and I do that all the way through, people. All I require and ask is the numbers in Scotland to get behind Anti-Corruption Scotland, because we in Anti-Corruption Scotland are the lions of Scotland. We have the direction and we have the ability and the hunger to beat this system, because nobody is more determined than myself, because this system destroyed my family. I want to destroy the system. That's my main objective, not an ego objective. Please, people, pay attention to what you've been told. Make this video and this information viral. I'm going to deal with this tomorrow. I've got an email for the Judicial Office. I've got an email for the Crown Office. So I'm going to deal with that first thing in the morning. I'm also going to form a complaint against the Glasgow Sheriff Court, because they're complicit in a fraud against the people and they're allowing crimes to be committed and they're uttering false documents for legal persons and not a sovereign man or woman. Anyway, people, hope you enjoyed this information. Please share this video far and wide. Get that information in there and have faith and trust in what I tell you. I stand by my word and I'll back it to the hilt. And I will not fucking back down, people. Take care, people. Have a nice night. I'll speak soon. Just a wee update. Okay? Take care, people.